see what happens. We'll see what happens. Test, I guess. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's working. Let's see who shows up. Oh, John, you can hear me? Oh, that's great. Bobby's actually going to be here in a second. We're going to see if we can't get this working with both of us on here. Just give us 1 sec. It's not as easy as I thought it was going to be. So we are still going with this technology. And with any luck, Bobby's voice will come in as well once we pipe everything in here. Oh, Michael, what about now? Just because I wasn't talking, is it still brutal? I don't know what else I can do about the volume. Michael, can you hear me? Got Alex, we got John. Turn up my volume. I don't know exactly how to turn up the volume. This is the best I have, I think. A little better. I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do. Okay, but that's good feedback. This way I can figure it out. Blue can hear you, or Behe can hear me. So I guess we're just gonna wait on, if you wouldn't mind, just wait on Bobby for just 2 minutes. I don't want to start without him. Oh, there it is. Okay, here he is. Hold on a second. Almost there. Okay.
Yo.
All right, so So, okay, here we go. So we've had people in here. Let's pull this
Okay.
up here. Let's pull this on. Let's see who can hear whom. All right, guys. So Bobby is now in here. So John, Alex, Michael, um, Bahij. Oh, very funny, Bahij.
Are
Um,
we on? Oh, we're on mine here.
we are on live. I know they can hear me. The question is going to be,
Can,
can they hear Bobby? So
can you guys hear me?
gotta. There's a lot of
Let's see if
there's some
give us a
suspense.
response. It usually takes a few seconds. So
There's some suspense. Let's see. Let's see. So I actually see like a little bit of delay when I'm bringing your faces in here. Can anybody hear Bobby Firestone? That's the question. And both of
can
us
y'all hear me? That's the question.
let's see.
Volume is good.
Can
Let's
hear
see.
everyone. Look at how good we are.
Hey, we can hear everyone now. Look at that. Sweet.
Now I want to tell you guys, by the way, Bobby, the guy Cody Mayfield that came in just now, he
Yeah.
was officially the very first person in the live chat last time. So when we create our T-shirts, he's gonna get the first T-shirt.
That sounds good to me. Welcome, Cody. Welcome, everybody. Guys, let's get into it. We got a fun little second half slate here. Like, it's all the news is coming in. Sheets, what do you think about this the FanDuel slate?
Okay, so again, it's a little tricky because I was like you, I was looking at the 2 p.m.s and all this stuff, right? So I wasn't really focused on on getting those later games in also, okay? But this is what I kind of came up with, and let me just get my handy dandy position by position thing in here, and we'll just kind of go over it. So the best play, I mean, as far as I was concerned, is someone who's not in here. I still feel the best play is Damian Lillard. I don't think anything's really changed so much from the last run of news that we had with these guys, and I think they're all going to probably rate to be really, really good plays. Now I don't know where ownership is going to come in, but I think that Lillard from the point guard position is gonna be the best play. And then I actually have 4 guys underneath that I feel are pretty equal with respect to value. One's really cheap, and the other 3 are just kind of, actually 2 are kind of value, and the other 2 kind of whatever. The pivot to Lillard is actually a little strange for me because it's Westbrook, and I also have Harden in this lineup. So I don't know if I can get away with that, but again, these are just kind of plays I like. And I do like Westbrook a lot as a pivot off of Lillard at even at a greater price. And the other 2 guys I like from in this position are going to be Rubio, and also obviously now that Butler is out, Goran Dragic at 4,600 is kind of tough to get away from. If you wanted to go down again and you want to take another shot at Anthony Simons, I also have no problem with that also at 3,700. So I thought those 5 point guards for me were the 5 that were kind of in play.
Yeah. So we got yeah, I mean, basically, I feel like our point guard might be one of the strongest positions. There's a lot of good plays in the slate. I think that it's really hard for me to get away from paying down for Dragic and Simons. I like that sort of route that it gets me everything I want elsewhere. But I certainly agree that paying for Lillard makes perfect sense to me. I don't think I'm going to play Westbrook on FanDuel that much. I do actually have him in a couple lineups on DraftKings with Chris Paul, who is another guy I don't mind over here. Same thing with Lonzo. But just with all these great plays, I think that you lean for me, I actually lean Rubio, Sexton, Peyton, Dragic, Simon. So I like all the cheap spend downs. That's the way I'm going to be building over here. And I even think Markelle Fultz's price is tempting, along with Kendrick Nunn, by the way. And Darius Garland. These are all the plays for me. So I think it's actually a mistake to pay at the point guard. I mean, I just like the value range. And right now, I'm preferring more of the Dragic, Simons all the way spend down, or maybe a Dragic, Peyton. I like sort of like that option. That's my biggest decision right now for the second half of the day on DraftKings is basically whether or not I'm willing to switch out my Peyton for Dragic. They're the same exact price on DraftKings, and I've got a bunch of spots that are doing well so far. So trying to figure that one out over there. But over here, these guys are all great to be great plays. And Darius Garland's the one who's going to be overlooked. I love him at 5K today. I originally would have thought Satoransky and guys like that, but I'm not going anywhere near there anymore. It is this whole range to me, the 5,400, the 4,600. and that, or if you're not going to play Dragic, to play none. I don't think I'd want to play all those Miami guys together, but I certainly don't mind it as an option.
Yeah, Eric Johnson is coming in with Tyler Hero birthday
Yeah.
narrative.
Oh, Harris a great play anyway.
Okay, well that's even better. Speaking of that, I have to say that I'm the worst. I brought up Anthony Simons again. When we brought him up the last time we had the situation, and he was 70%. How did we not? How did we not go with Gary Trent's birthday to break the freaking slate? I mean, we're just really just the nut low. I don't even know why we go about doing this. So somebody came in, Eric. He's asking if we're going over DK. Like,
Oh yeah, I'll talk over DK as well.
yeah, okay. Like for now, I'm just kind of looking at FanDuel just because again, it's an hour before lock there, so
Yeah.
I'm trying to kind of focus on that right now.
We'll talk about FanDuel, and then if you guys want, we'll go to DK later and talk about pivots.
But
as games get closer and closer, and the sites are updated with the new injury information.
You know what? In a way, it's also an hour before lock for DraftKings too, because remember, even though they had those first two games that were at 2 and 2:30, whatever, those games are locked, and there's like 6 games. All the rest of them lock at 5 o'clock also. So it's very similar actually. So we will spend some time on what was I going to say on DraftKings as well.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, keep going.
Yes, so that's fine. So again, you'll see, by the way, that because I'm just kind of new at this, I'm a little clunky managing the situation, like putting the faces back up and putting whatever. But again, like everything else, that's all going to be fine tuned over time. So at the shooting guard position, there's to me 2 plays, and one of them we just hit on actually. That Well, we have one spend up, which we'll talk about, and for me, I've really like 4 mid-range guys that all look pretty decent, and then kind of an upper range pivot also. So we already mentioned Tyler Hero, or somebody brought him up, and he actually rates to be a really, really strong play with what's his name out. Birthday or not. I mean, he rates to be one of my favorites. And then the guy who's actually rates to be the best play from a points per dollar, whatever perspective, for us, what I'm looking at is a guy again who I don't usually play, but they might force me to, is Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
He's still 6,500, so it's kind of tough to deny the fact that he's going to be a strong play. And then again, the other guy that I have as his top play is going to be Harden. Again, I kind of go about FanDuel a little differently. I just don't go from top to bottom, whatever. I just kind of rank the guys as far as values go. And Harden looks to be just a really, really strong play today. And if it's same as DraftKings, is going to be much lower owned than he might otherwise be. But I guess with all this value opening up, it's becoming so much easier to play Harden and another guy maybe he won't be as different, I suppose. Yeah. And just to kind of go over the rest of the 3 guys I was looking at was one you're not going to like. Andrew Wiggins with Cat back. We talked about this, that it's possible.
Get out of here. You play Andrew Wiggins on this slate, you should.
Well, I mean, we talked about last time with Cat back, he might do better. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he posted his first career triple-double. I mean, it is what it is. So, okay.
Look, I'm not saying you're not going to have some good games, but on this slate with these other options we got at shooting guard, I just don't see how we can play it.
Yeah. This is, I'll tell you, man, Bobby, this is the United States of America. People are dying.
I want to help the people narrow down their decision making.
Now, people are dying in wars all over the world so that we can have the freedom to play whoever we want. So to say like you can't play Andrew Wiggins is really just kind of anti-American. But I feel you. I understand.
This coming from the guy whose biggest complaint about me was always that I wouldn't just tell him no if I didn't like a play or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm telling you no.
Absolutely.
I'm saying no.
All right. So as they say in the old commercials, the anti-drug commercials, when it comes to Andrew Wiggins, just say no is basically what Bobby's telling me. All right.
No on this slate. I mean, so I think you have virtual locks, which is weird because you have 4 guys I could argue that are virtual locks.
Yeah.
Mitchell, Harden. Honestly, at this price over here, I think Devontae Graham for tournaments is a big play.
What about Hield?
You can talk about Hield, but it's just because he's a low-owned tournament play. Obviously, the matchup's not good, but I think I'm just going to lean to Hero if I'm going to pay down. I think Hero is just a good play. So it would be Hero or Harden or Mitchell, or basically the only 3 that will end up in any of my lineups.
But what about? Let me just give you one more that you can say no to. If you're gonna play Lillard, can you play D'Angelo Russell?
I think you can actually with this matchup, but I just think I'm not going to. D'Angelo Russell, Zach Levine, Devin Booker would have been my favorite pivots, but I'm not going to play enough on FanDuel where it matters. These are the guys I'm keeping it down to just three for me.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. Um, moving on to small forward. Now it's funny. Earlier today, I imagine it's going to be even worse. But earlier today, they're projecting that Giannis is going to be just insanely high owned. I don't see why that's not the case as well.
Yeah.
Considering that now you can afford him. I so here's the way I come out on small forward. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't want to play. I don't know how the ownership's going to come out, but if for some reason LeBron is that much lower owned than Giannis, um, I'm totally going to play LeBron over Giannis. Again, it just kind of depends. I haven't looked at an ownership run in a little while. Are they projecting
But you know
somehow?
Anthony Davis playing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, is there any reason? I mean, is there any ownership projections out there? I mean, like, is LeBron going to be that much lower owned than Giannis? Is that the case?
Um. So, yeah.
Yeah. So my opinion is I'm going to try it. Now let me just finish. And the other guy who rates to be just a really great play here, which I'm playing him on DraftKings also, but on FanDuel it's like kind of obscene. Is Marcus Morris? He I'll completely play him as kind of like a spend down in this spot also. So my main guys are going to be LeBron as a pivot from Giannis. Obviously Giannis is a great play, and Marcus Morris. And the next two guys I would play are going to be one of the Celtics. I haven't decided whether it's Jaylen Brown or Hayward.
Yeah, I'm pretty much with you on these. I like. Uh, yeah, I think for me it's just going to be honest realistically, and
Okay.
then I'm trying to figure out what to do with my other spot. Here are my options. I think actually even with Drew Holiday back, you could consider Brandon Ingram as an interesting tournament play over here. I feel like he's locked into having pretty. I mean, he's just exploding right now, and they're going to keep riding him. So I like him as a pivot. And spending up is not something I think people will do. You can spend down for a guy who played 30 minutes in Mario Hezonja. We know how that can go, one of two ways, and one of those ways might win you a tournament. So that's sort of where I'm leaning is that, and honestly, like I don't like this small forward position very much over here. So I'm looking at guys like that I really don't feel excited about. Like I mentioned his own. Oh, Marcus Morris would be my favorite. I forgot to mention him. In that weird like little tier at 5.2. I think he makes a lot of sense. I actually think Derek Jones Jr. in a good game environment for him with the minutes he'll play with all those guys gone is in play. But Gallinari's too cheap. Like those guys all make sense, but I think mostly Marcus Morris and probably Morris and Gallinari would be the guys if you paid in the mid tier. Down you go to Hazonia, up you go to Ingram.
Yeah. No, you guys, by the way, if you wanted to fire stuff off in chat, we're kind of like on a roll and kind of going through stuff, but if you want to fire some stuff off and have us, poke back into it, we'll certainly make some time for questions and to get to these things. But yeah, so someone's asking is how many minutes is now ABC, that means Giannis.
Yeah,
Remember, I don't know all the,
yeah,
I don't know the neck tacts and the ABCs and I don't know all the nicknames, right? How many is he going to get though? 25. You got to just be careful about fading him, Eric, because if they're projecting him to get 27, 28 minutes and he's still rating to be a good play, I do think that he has he has more upside from those minutes than downside, and it's kind of a tough fade, and that's why he's going to be really popular also because he's got a good floor of points if he only gets his 28, 9 minutes, and God forbid Chicago does keep it close. Then all you're getting is more Giannis in your face. So it is a very very tough fade. The one thing I would add is that if you are going to play Giannis, I don't even look at his price on FanDuel, but I think that playing Levine as a run back would be pretty badass. You know what I mean? Because
yeah, you get no ownership on him. This is the kind of night where he wins your tournaments.
yeah, yeah. So I definitely would consider that. And I didn't even look at his price as on shooting. What is he? Probably something ridiculous like 9,000 or something. I can't play him, which means I'll probably
Wait,
play him.
wait. Who was that? Oh, Levine.
Levine.
There's 87. That's fine.
Oh, okay. So he looks like ridiculously overpriced. So that's fine. Perfect. Will work out great.
It doesn't even seem like it's not that he looks ridiculously overpriced. It's just I can't see people playing him over these other guys.
Right.
That's really what it comes down to. And to be honest, I'm struggling with some current builds in my because I really do like a lot of plays on this slate, and I did just sort of briefly mention the Marcus Morris, but I think he's my preferred guy at small forward. Just want to make that one clear. And I love the Rubio call before that you made, but I just didn't talk too much about that.
So Eric is coming up with something that I brought up in the FanDuel review, DraftKings review earlier, which I think could be an interesting little flyer. Is Kobe White in this game? It just is kind of an off the board, one off even, or however you want to play him. Just because Milwaukee does give up a great amount of threes, and I know Kobe White likes to take a lot of them. So again, I don't know if you need him on, or it's a little bit too much on this slate, but I definitely would consider it. And what's cool about what Bobby just said, he mentioned Rubio, and remember, like think about the other stuff that's going on in your lineups, right? So if we mention Rubio, what else maybe from that game what we think about, you know what I mean? So even though we haven't gotten to the other San Antonio guys yet, you're more inclined to play Rubio in a GPP if you could kind of run it back with, at least the way I play, with somebody there like Levine. I wouldn't put him as a one-off if I weren't going to play Giannis. So this construction actually wouldn't work. But again, we are going position by position, but I'm still always keeping, the full lineup and the full construction in mind.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But we both agree that Marcus Morris is a tremendous play, so that's good.
Yeah, I love Marcus Morris. Really, basically going through my lineups right now as we're going through and editing my point guards a lot and keeping everything else pretty much the same. And we're going to get to two guys who I absolutely love the power forward spot, and I'm not really going to care about what the ownership is.
Okay, so let's get there, and I'm interested to hear where you come up because I have a grand total of 2 power forwards that I'm going to play. And
but we're basically the same, I think.
Okay, and it's gonna be Marvin Bagley and Kevin Love. Those are gonna be the two. I don't know I presume Bagley's gonna be extraordinarily chalky, and I guess since he's projecting well that Love's gonna be chalky too. But those are my main two. And if you went down from there, then you would have to. Then for me, it'd be either Davis, but I'm not probably playing him. Bielitsa, or Jeremy Grant maybe, but then you have a whole bunch of little cheapies like maybe Larry Nance. But I wouldn't play Nance if I'm going to play Love. Maybe I should play Nance instead of Love. I don't know. And one thing you could do if you want is you could play LaMarcus Aldridge, and we brought up what's his name earlier, Rubio. So if you do want to play Rubio, you could run in back with Aldridge and make that sense. But for me, my two main power forwards are going to be Bagley and Love.
Yeah, I love both Bagley and Love, and I think that they both will be fairly high owned, but I'm okay with it. Those are probably my two favorites, but I do think that the spend down, my clear favorite spend down, is got to be Jeremy Grant. I actually love him so much. I'm actually flirting with the idea of maybe skipping Love over here. It's a tough one.
Is Jeremy Grant like a ceiling type of guy? You think we can get like enough points out of him?
30 points from him would be great at 4K.
Right.
And he's going to play 30 minutes and he's active, I like it. I don't know. We'll see how it ends up, but I think by the end of it, it's a tricky situation. I'm sort of struggling with it. But anyway, I really like those guys, and then I do think Larry Nance is okay if you're not love to take a shot, but those are pretty much the only guys I'm looking at.
Whoa. Okay, so we go to center. I'm only presuming that Favors is out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only reason I'm seeing what I'm seeing.
Okay. Yeah, he's out.
He is out, right? Okay. Because I'm looking at these updated projections and stuff, and I'm like, whoa, I have to presume that Favors is out.
Right.
Because Jackson Hayes is kind of a lock. I don't know. Let's talk about this. So at center on FanDuel, I can go one of several ways, I guess. If you wanted to go go back to cheap for a second. If you wanted to spend up a little bit, or a lot, whatever, I think it's either Whiteside or Ayton, or if you wanted to be much lower owned, I guess you can go to Vooch, right? So, and I think all three of those are fine. I presume Whiteside would be the most popular of them all. He's still got that same matchup. He's still got a good matchup with that same lack of rotation, lack of bench depth or whatever. But those would be my three spend ups. I think all of them are fine. If you wanted to go cheap, Jackson Hayes projects to be insanely good. So I presume he's going to be really chalky. If you wanted to pivot off of that, if he's going to be really chalky, we could go over someone you discussed in the DraftKings video. is maybe go to Mitchell Robinson or somebody like that.
Yeah.
That could be fun. And again, not to play everybody, but the other two guys kind of in the mid range, you could either go with Tristan Thompson or Valanciunas. You go back to him; he's always a good tournament play. So again, I'm not just trying to play everybody, but those guys all look like all viable. And I'm really curious to hear where the ownership comes in on this. I mean, is Hayes huge chalk?
I think he's got to be pretty chalky, depending on how you build. But look, it's Hayes on the spend down. It's Whiteside as the spend up for me, with Vooch being a great pivot. Um, there's a lot of good options at center, but I'm just going to take. I have lineups with Vucevic, Whiteside, Hayes. This is like the point guard spot. I'm keeping my forward spots really narrow, and my shooting guard spot's pretty narrow. But the point guard and center is where I'm differentiating everything. I have lineups with Tristan Thompson. I have lineups with Valanciunas. I have lineups with Steven Adams. I have lineups with Jackson Hayes. That's pretty much it. And I have lineups with Mitchell Robinson. But so basically, look, I have a very tight core of everything else, and I'm spreading out like crazy in these spots and getting parts of different variants, because this you could make an argument for each of these guys on a point per dollar basis. It really just comes down to how your lineup's built. So making some 2v2 swaps with your point guard spot, sometimes spending down, sometimes taking one shot up as point guard or something is one way I'm differentiating some of my lineups. But mostly keep that hard, tight core, and then differentiating in just these spots. And I think that's what I'm think is the way that I like FanDuel today, because I really think there's a lot of centers and point guards that are going to go nuts.
So here's the thing, Eric. So he's saying, wouldn't you play Randall with Love? Right. Okay. So everything. This is the way I look at it. Everything is a benefit and a sacrifice, right? For everything that you achieve, you have to give something up. So remember on FanDuel, you can only play two guys in the power forward. You can only play two guys in the small forward. So whenever you pick one guy at a position, you are giving up the possibility of playing another guy at the position. So yeah, it would be really nice if I could play Randall and Love together. In as much as, they have that natural correlation back and forth with one another. And you can make a case that if you want to make a game stack, you can certainly make that happen. But then you have to think about what you're giving up at the power forward position to do that, right? So, like, for example, let's just say you really loved Marvin Bagley, okay? Yeah, you're picking up some juice by going Randall Love, getting that extra correlation juice. But you have to make the determination whether giving up a really strong value like Bagley is worth the extra juice you're getting from playing Randall alongside of Love. So I
Yeah.
don't think I'm going to do that today, but I think conceptually, yeah, you're right. I would love to play that. I'd love for Randall and Love to be able to pair them together and be low owned and me not have to give anything up and maybe put Bagley in the utility spot or something like that and whatever. But I think that sometimes, again, it depends on what you're giving up, like opportunity cost to do what you want to do. But, yes, I would prefer to play guys that correlate well with another, but it depends on what I'm giving up. But, it's funny that you made me look at this, because one guy that I didn't bring up at power forward, who's also really, is he that expensive? Yeah, he's pretty expensive, but with Butler out, I wonder if just you could get naturally more usage out of Bam. That's, again, I don't think anybody's going to pay up for him. So I didn't really think about him. So I figured I'd bring them up. But yeah,
I just think this. I don't want to do what the people on some other shows do and name every. I'll name the guys that make our plays. There's so many good ones today that there's a lot of routes today. But I like to try. I try to focus on what I'm going to play, because that's different. I love that you're going with the LeBron thing. That alone, you can pretty much go pretty chalky if you want to, other than LeBron. If you're going to try and build lineups with him.
Yeah.
I just don't see people doing that. And if they do, by the way, I think you could try and build LeBron with Giannis and Harden lineups if you really wanted to. There's enough value out there to do it.
Well, let me ask you that. The person who just said thoughts on Dylan Brooks, he's sneaky night. Is he the same guy that said he has 38% Morant? Okay, so Eric, you're talking about having a lot of Morant and Dylan Brooks. I think that's a good idea, because I think that neither of those guys are going to project to be that great. But if you play them together, you have that kind of, point guard passing it to the wing. And the cool thing about that is if you get that right, then you don't, like Bobby was inferring, you get a couple of off the board plays right, then you could chalk out pretty much the rest of your lineups and the rest of your lineup and be kind of in good shape. You know what I mean? You don't want to necessarily play, Morant with Dylan Brooks and then also play LeBron as opposed to Giannis and also, fade Marvin Bagley and you know what I mean? Or go down to Mitchell Robinson at center. You don't want to play all 3% guys, but I think that in general, like if you want to play Morant and Brooks together, I think it's fine. But again, remember that the rest of your lineup doesn't have to be as off the wall.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well said.
Noel, is Noel a good play? I didn't consider him.
No, you're not playing well. We don't have. I mean, Steven Adams wasn't announced out unless I just missed something.
Yeah.
The Memphis game is a game that I wanted to target, and I have a ton of Garland. I'm actually really struggling over on DraftKings because I'll tell you right now, I played one 555 lineup, and I've got a really nice start in it. Not like unbeatable start, but I've got Ben Simmons with 31 at halftime. I've got Drummond with 51. I've got Dinwiddie at 21 at halftime. I've got LeVert 18 at halftime. I know those guys are pretty chalky outside of Simmons, but it's a great start. A very solid start. 53 now and a half for Drummond. And I've got a nice little mini stack left to play, but it doesn't include any of this New Orleans value, and it doesn't include anyone from Miami. So I think I'm going to have to pivot and take somebody from there because I just think there's too good a chance one of none hero. Basically, I have to decide Dragic versus Peyton. It's a tricky situation, and to be honest, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do yet. I'm going to wait to see what my final scores like. The good news is I've still got 38 minutes. There's a lot that can happen in this 38 minutes to let me know where I'm at in this game. If Joe Harris doesn't score another fantasy point, I know I'm in trouble. I can just take the lowest owned guy. But if Joe Harris gets to his 20 at 3,600 or whatever, I can do whatever I want because even though I have a fairly chalky-ish lineup so far, I have, not the nuts, but I can have certainly close to it if Ben Simmons ends up around 60.
I can't believe that. I guess I can believe it. Joe Harris was incredibly high owned.
The Nets were.
He is not making anybody happy at all. But I'll tell you who's not making anybody happy is Garrett Temple, who started at 0.
Well, but I don't even know how many people ended up taking. Did they LeVert was 35% in 55.
I'll tell you someone who took him. Eric Haber took Garrett Temple. Eric Haber said that if Joe Harris is going to be 50% owned and Temple's going to be 10%, they're both starting and they project within 2 points of one another. I was going to try it. I didn't.
I actually like the play. I mean, I
wasn't quite modeling for the 0 at the half. See, that 0 at the half is can kind of get in your way a little bit. So I am going to have to probably do some zigging and zagging with some of these lineups.
Do you remember when we were talking about Harden and Westbrook the other night, and I told you how much I love Westbrook if Davis is out, but if Davis is in, they're going to have to beat him from the outside because of how often Russ will attack the basket with Davis out. Yeah. And then literally in the game, I think his first 7 times he basically had the ball. Russ took the ball in the basket, either dunked it on somebody or laid it in, and he just attacked them all night. It was pretty fun because no Davis. But anyway, thought that was a funny little old play. What happened here?
I don't think anything happened. What happened?
Oh, it jumped out. It turned blue on the YouTube channel for a second.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, Noel a good play. Not Noel for me tonight. We already said that one. Not Noel for me. I just want to make sure I get to everybody's things.
What are the questions we have in here so far?
A lot of the Memphis game in general. I think that Memphis makes a lot of sense. I think I liked Brooks before. I don't think you can do it anymore with other value out there and other plays in that price range. I feel really nervous about this getting off of Elfrid Payton for Dragic, or maybe more importantly for Hero.
I think it's probably. You know what I think I'm going to do? So I have some a good amount of DraftKings stacks with like 3 Knicks, for example, of which one of them is Payton. Maybe that's probably the smart idea is to pivot off of Payton to someone like Hero. And I'll still keep Randall and Morris as part of that stack, but maybe Payton down to Hero might not be the worst idea in the world.
The problem is I really like Payton and I really like Garland and Sexton, and this is making me sort of blow it up here, and I really don't like it. I really want to play Hero.
Let me take a really quick look and see what the DraftKings for the earlier slate, how these projections have kind of updated with respect to late swap and all this stuff. Let me just see really quickly what I think that Miami, what I would do, like if I had to do it now, which I can. Yeah, Hero and Dragic look really. I mean, I got to get them. I just have to. But again, are they going to be really really high owned? Probably. So what I have to make sure is that, like you said, if you have one of these nut lineups so far, which I don't even know what they are at this point. What does Drummond have nowadays?
If he has 50, let's see, 51 and a half. They took him back down to.
Yeah, he had it's so funny. People were trolling him. He had a ooh, so this is what I have. Please don't let this be a Temple one. Okay, so like for example, should I pull this in? Yeah, I'll pull this in. Why not? So like so for example, let me make this nice and big. So like this guy right over here. So I have this Dinwiddie with Rose, Drummond, and Allen. So how far in the game is the Rose? See, this isn't that as great as I thought. So Allen's really not having that great of a game. How much time is left in this? So we're just starting. That's just the end of the first half, right? So Rose is, what is Rose? How much left in that game? Oh, that's over. Okay, so this is nothing. I thought this was something to be excited about.
I can't see it. I have no idea which one it is.
Oh, really? You don't have
I don't see it. Oh wait, now I see it. Hold on, never mind.
It was just the one on the left. See, I thought it was earlier in the game where where Rose was having a lot of points and stuff. Okay.
In my 555 right now, it's Ben Simmons, Dinwiddie, Harris, Drummond, and LeVert, which is pretty solid.
Yeah. See what I do when I type in Simmons? There's something wrong with my software because it doesn't seem to be popping up any Ben Simmons lineups. I gotta email DraftKings and figure out what's wrong with their software. Because
how many minutes is Hero going
to get? Because it certainly can't be because I didn't play.
Minutes will be 28.
28 minutes, you think?
26. 20. He's got a range. So I would say 24 to 28 minutes.
It's so funny. You're mentioning favorite run back if stacking Memphis. See, the way I look at it is, the way I always look at it is kind of the reverse. I always have to struggle about which Memphis guys to run back with when I'm stacking the other guys from the other team. So
yeah, it's impossible.
Right. So let me ask you. So is Drew in? Do we know that?
Yeah, he's in.
So Drew is in. So I think that, see, do you still think that he's as good of a play as you did earlier? Because you said if he's in, you liked him a lot, and I'm afraid.
I don't like nearly as much as I did. I think he'll get him low ownership, and I think he'll be fine just putting up numbers. But there's just so many ways you can just now pay down and play the other guys you want to. Play the Hardens, all that stuff.
And do we have to play Jackson Hayes?
I like Jackson Hayes.
I know, but
it's a great environment for him too.
No, I mean in DraftKings if we didn't play him before.
I'm not playing him on DraftKings currently in my main lineup.
Yeah.
That, for whatever that's worth, like it saves me too much. I feel like I have to pivot way too far down, and I would rather play the 5K guys than play him at 4K. I don't know. It's close, man. It's really close. Yeah. Numbers wise, I should do the other, but I'm gonna wait and see where everything weighs out before I make my final decisions. Yeah. Dinwiddie's picking it up now too, but he's mega chalk as well.
Yeah, I don't mind Dinwiddie getting there as chalk because I had him. I have him in a lot of my lineups because what I did is I built around different game stacks, and then I just kind of let kind of whoever the best plays were kind of fill in the rest of the lineups. So Dinwiddie, I just got a lot of him. So I don't mind I really don't mind what score he gets as long as he kind of gets there. I mean, if he doesn't ceiling it, it's not the end of the world. I don't think.
Right.
Kendrick Nunn. I mean, I just think those other guys are just so much better.
I think that on DraftKings, that's true. I think you could use him as a pivot on FanDuel, and there's definitely a route for him to get there, like big time. What am I looking at here? So I was trying to figure out the run back for New Orleans from Memphis. You mentioned the holiday thing? Like I still think you can do it. I think Ingram is actually your best run back, but I know it feels weird paying that much when you don't need to, maybe don't think you need to on the slate, which I totally get, but you're going to get him at lower ownership than usual. You can do anything you want because there's a lot of value out there.
I'm going to reiterate what I said in the DraftKings thing that in this environment, I think that, and he might not be as popular now as he could have been earlier in the day, but I think Josh Hart's a really good play, and I usually don't like playing him. He's just very, very frustrating. Points per, his fantasy points per minute is really nothing special.
He's not going to play that as much though with Holiday.
Yeah, I know, but he's still really, really, really cheap, and he could get those steals and stuff like that. I don't know. I think I might.
Yeah.
I think I might try it. We'll see.
Yeah.
Especially with some of my Hail Mary lineups, which I think that the Garrett Temple ones kind of qualify right now. So I think that's I think that's going to be the case.
Well, I can't figure out what to do here.
FanDuel playing lineup. Would you play 3 studs? I don't know. Let's find out. So let's see if we let's see this. Let's see if we can play.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can play 3 studs. How about that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do that right now. Okay, so I presume by studs we mean Harden and either LeBron or Giannis.
Wait, say that one more time.
So by studs we mean Harden, LeBron, and we're not going to play Westbrook with Harden, right? So
no, I just think it'd be Harden, LeBron, Giannis.
Harden, LeBron, Giannis. We can't consider Lillard a stud, right? Okay, so.
No, I mean, we can, but I think when he immediately says that, he probably means the 3 most expensive guys. I'm just
Okay,
guessing.
so let's do it. Let's see based on the stuff that we talked about. So let's clear the field. Okay, fine. I won't play Wiggins in this lineup. How about that? Right. So let's get rid of Love. Let's get rid of all these. First guy I know we're going to have to play is Jackson Hayes. Okay. That's one guy for sure. Now, can you fill out the rest of this? Now, let's just pretend that we can get Bagley in at 5,100. Can you get the rest of this in at 4,150 per player based on what we said?
Yeah. So put Jackson Hayes at center.
We did that already. We could go back. We could try Anthony Simons if we want.
Why do you want to change it? I'm confused. I'm totally confused.
We went Harden, Giannis, and LeBron.
Oh, we did with those other guys already?
With Hayes.
Oh, okay.
And Bagley.
Yeah, what I would do, you could do if you want to do Hayes, Bagley, and then you do Jeremy Grant, Anthony Simons, Goran Dragic.
Well, that'd be great. Now, what's Hero? A shooting guard?
Yeah, we could play him too. He's the thing is, him and Dragic are like the same price over here, which makes you want to lean Dragic. But throw in the birthday narrative, man, and there's your $200 difference. It makes up for everything.
And where's power forward? Is that Hazonia?
No, power forward. You go Jeremy Grant.
There you go, Larry Nance.
Yeah, but Jeremy Grant would be the better.
What's his price?
4,000.
Sorry, I can't afford it.
You can afford it.
No, I have
I know exactly. I got it already figured out exactly what you're going to do. Oh, you're going a different route.
Yeah, we're just going to save this. But the point of the matter is, to answer your question, Eric, is 100% you can.
No, I literally had this lineup in my freaking thing.
You 100% can do that. I mean, you could play all three. You could play all 3 of them. What I don't want to do is this first thing. So I have to remember to do this. I don't want to play Westbrook and Harden together today. But I do think I'm going to use some Hazonia as kind of a weird small forward cheat.
I don't think it's going to be that unusual. Yeah, maybe he will. With all the other value, he probably is now. But he was certainly on the radar at the beginning of the day.
Right.
Come on, Ben Simmons, get it going.
He's got something going?
He's got 37.5.
All right, now you had mentioned that Ricky Rubio was kind of a decent play over here, right?
Yeah.
So
he's a great play at 6,300.
Right. So we forgot to mention at power forward, because he wasn't quite as good a play as these other guys, as LaMarcus Aldridge, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as I mentioned before, if you wanted to play Rubio along with Aldridge, I know you're not going to be able to play Andrew Wiggins, which is really, I know how frustrating that could be. But you could certainly do that. And again, you could play these good plays. So you could play Harrow. And that's the thing. Like when you play kind of like off the board stuff, you can get away with, oh, look at this. How good is this? Oh, still this is Harden along with Westbrook. So we could chalk out a little bit and play Lillard.
Yeah.
And this maybe, and then you have Valanciunas at the center. And was there anybody else we liked over here? No, there's a big jump up to him. So we could pay up a little more. We don't need Hazonia, I suppose. I suppose there's somebody we could find that's better than Hazonia, like you were saying. We could play, we could almost get Crowder. That would be fun. That would be fun. Or we could play Osman as a low-owned dart throw. That would be fun also. Hmm. Hmm. Let's see. Or we could leave 1,300 on the table, which I don't want to do. What else at small forward at 6,500 can we play? We could play Carmelo Anthony.
What for?
I'm just throwing stuff out there. I mean, I got 1,300 to spend. You want to put 1,300? You want to leave it on the table?
No.
You don't want to do that, right?
I would mix it up a little bit. I would get rid of
I don't.
LMA,
You don't like LMA.
upgrade Hazonia probably.
So let's no, but I want to play LMA. I want to play.
Oh.
I want to play LMA with Rubio.
Oh, you want to get a little?
Yeah,
Okay.
I want to play LMA with Rubio. And as a matter of fact,
Well, then why don't you just get really crazy with it? Because at these prices, you could almost play Rubio and Booker together.
that's what's happening right now. That is what's putting in right now. And then we could go all the way up at small forward to somebody. Oh, we don't want to go Oubre, right? The game. That's a little bit. I think that's asking a little bit too much, right?
Just gonna answer some DK questions real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not playing Oubre.
Well, I throw money away with this. So let's just see. So, and we could play Ingram here if then we go down at this position, and then we could play Chris Paul. We could do that if we wanted to, or we could go with Lonzo Ball along with Ingram. Do you like Lonzo on FanDuel or not so much?
I like him fine, but I don't like. No, he's not be a priority play. But the one thing is, all these guys are good plays, like no ownership. This guy, is asking about PJ Tucker. PJ Tucker always makes me nervous to say he's not a good play on a slate because he weirdly will put up 45 any random time, and he plays so many minutes that he can always get there. But and same thing with Mans. I just think you're giving up. There's just better plays than those guys. Like if I'm on DraftKings and those guys are in my lineups, I'm doing everything I can to rework it to try and get to Harden and Morant. See, I'm not as high on Morant on DK, so that's a different story. I get it. I just think you're giving up. There's better edge on playing other players in that range. I mean, I would prefer. I know it's a different position, but I prefer playing Vucevic to Morant, for example. I actually don't think I have any shares of Morant on DraftKings.
Is Okafor remain out?
Okafor is not playing out.
Okay.
At least we don't have him as playing.
So I'll go with the guy who almost made you a lot of money a few weeks ago. Would you take any stabs on Melly?
No.
Okay.
It's not the right slate, and I don't know what the minutes are going to be. I just feel like it's too thin, and it's weird because I'm now in a spot about pivoting because I did play some of the early guys that I liked. Like I had a ton of this Brooklyn game. Now I got Ben Simmons up to 43. Ben Simmons is going to end up for sure. And then Drummond obviously ended 51. Not ideal, but like still we'll take it. It's not the worst.
He started off the game really, really bad too.
Yeah. Anyway, but he had 9 turnovers. Drummond.
You serious?
That's unbelievable. For a big guy to have 9 turnovers is really crazy. But I was right about that. We were right about being skeptical about that game a little bit. And look at the final score was 106-100. That's what is that, like 25 below the projected total?
Which game was that?
That was the Washington game.
You're absolutely
right. It was just
right.
a low-scoring game, which never happens in Washington. Okay, I'm taking a quick look. Derek Jones starting, we knew that. I mean, Danilo Gallinari is that weird tournament play tonight that could get you there, even on DraftKings or FanDuel. He's 5,900 on FanDuel. I keep almost ending up with him on DraftKings. I don't want to make that move. I'm really struggling, Cheeks, because now as my lineup looks better and better, it makes it a little bit more, hey, what am I going to do to pivot here?
Yeah, well, think about it. Like how much better is it? You know what I mean? Like, just remember the nuts is tough. Like you really need to think about what other people might have. What are the smashes? What are the smashes so far?
So side note, well, the smashes would be Simmons on pace anyway. Dinwiddie on pace to crush his value. Joe Harris now on his way to being very good value.
Oh, is that right? He's doing better now?
He got 16.75, not even halfway through the third. So he's good. And then Dinwiddie's at 29 now. Drummond at 51. So not crazy smashes, but I would say, like, for argument's sake, right, I'm tied with 4 people at my score, and we don't have the nuts. I'm in 27th place. I've got 3 guys remaining that all make that little mini stack that I really liked, and I know that 2 of them will be extremely low on, and all 3 will be low on. Maybe I just stick with it.
Yeah. Yeah, you
But
again, those guys that you have are very, very low owned guys.
it's going to be gross when Tyler Hero lets like seven threes when he in 5 minutes in the first quarter or something.
Well, probably. Well, does he is he going to start?
I don't think so. That's why I said in 5 minutes he's coming off the bench.
Well, let's see how maybe Duncan Robinson gets hot. Duncan Robinson is probably the best fantasy points per first quarter, like in the whole league.
I know he's the best real life points per first quarter, but that's the only way he gets fantasy points.
I mean, I saw when he had a wide open look to send the game into overtime a couple of days ago, and it would have been his first point since like the first quarter or something like that.
Anything from the Portland game on FanDuel? Yes, you do want the Portland game. I haven't assessed the. Well, me and Sheets will, I guess, but if we can, I guess we'll talk about DK. Yeah, the upcoming DK slate is an interesting one that I haven't really gotten to yet. So, should we talk about that, Sheets, for a little bit?
Sure.
I know we're like 20 minutes out on these things, but I think we talk about that for like 10 minutes or so.
Sure.
So yeah, just looking at the evening slate on DK, which I haven't fully gone through. I've gone through it on FanDuel, but not on DK yet. So we'll do it together. But I think that I have a pretty good idea of what I want to do.
All right, sounds good. Let me pull up my.
Not 7:30. Wow,
pull this up. So as I was mentioning, there's nothing's really changed in the Portland situation, right? That makes it less likely that I want to play Damian Lillard. The only thing that might change is maybe he won't be 60% owned this time. I think he might be anyway. So that would be the first place I would start. Is that Portland game? I think Lillard is a really, really good play there. I think Whiteside is also just an amazing play. I don't know. I think they both have to be pretty insane chalk if you want to know the truth. So those, and I guess for good reason, those 2 rates would be my 2 favorite plays, point per dollar, whatever else on the slate. And if you want to make it real easy, if I can make it work, I'll run it right back with D'Angelo Russell and have some fun there. So that would be the first game I would start with because it's the first game. It's furthest out. We haven't really looked at it yet. So in the Golden State Portland game, that's where I would go. I would go with D'Angelo Russell. I don't think I would go down to. I would play Green on this slate, and then it would be Lillard, Whiteside, and then Simons again.
Yeah, I think those guys all make sense. I like those guys in that game. I want to build. I want to play a lot of them. I'll tell you that. I just don't know. I'm trying to decide which ones I want to get to at such crazy high ownership. Even Russell coming back is going to be extremely high owned. So I'm trying to take a look at the slate from an overall perspective and try and get maybe some not, I don't want to say sneaky spots, but like I think that playing both Monte Morris or Shabazz Napier in that game could be interesting. Because everything else I look at is that I like off the bat is pretty chalky. The pivots are what are going to make or break you tonight, as usual. So Kemba Walker is a really interesting play at 7.4. I know the Lakers are tough, but like he can beat anybody from the outside if he gets hot. Mike Conley is going to be overlooked because of the minutes, but it's at 4.2. Would it a few of the minutes back? And Devin Booker is another interesting pivot. People aren't going to play as much LeBron James, so those are sort of the guys I'm looking at to get off of the obvious chalk, which is the Portland Golden State game.
Well, going backwards then, I mean, let's look at this. So, it's so funny. I have it up on the end of the screen. I think people are looking at my screen. Hope you guys don't mind. I'm kind of like tweaking my my FanDuel lineups as I talk about DraftKings, if that's okay. Or what I could do is I can move my FanDuel tweaks. I don't know what you guys prefer to see. We kind of struggle to tweak the stuff live or to just review the DraftKings stuff. I don't know which page you'd rather me kind of be on, but let's all right, let's put the DraftKings one up there. So right now, again, you'll see this kind of up what you call it, refresh in a minute. So I think you'll see my DraftKings build kind of up here in the first place. It's going to replace my FanDuel thing eventually. So again, I don't know what you guys want to see, but so I'm off on one screen, by the way, just kind of just tweaking my FanDuel builds as we go into lock. So we're back into DraftKings. So with Phoenix and San Antonio, as I was saying before, I think you could go with DeAndre Ayton. I think you can go with Devin Booker. I think that you could always go with Devin Booker. And considering that LaMarcus Aldridge at 6,800 still looks like a good play on the other side, I think you can play that too. So again, if you're looking for pivots and whatever, and you want to play all these this Portland stuff, um, I think you can find it. I think the Phoenix game is kind of a decent place to find it also. So like, you don't need to convince me to play Booker ever. And Booker with Aiton, or Booker alone, or Aiton alone with LaMarcus Aldridge. I would certainly take a shot with those. What do you think?
Sure, and you could definitely do some of both too. You know what I mean? You could stack the Portland. You could play Russell, Lillard, and Simons, and then play Booker, Lillard, and go from there. There's a lot of different options of how you could build that. I think that would be fine. I think that I would try to get. It's hard because I do think you're right. I think the next most extreme game is the San Antonio Phoenix situation, but I could see the Denver Minnesota game being kind of interesting. I like to attack Minnesota. It's always hard though to pick Denver when it comes to attacking anyone. That's why I sort of was looking at the Monty Morris play.
Right.
I think Monty Morris is definitely in play here. I know he's the off the board one that I think might be. You're not going to get anything from his current numbers or his recent game log. It's an overall thing with him. I also really like Jeremy Grant over here as well at 4,400. I think that's a really fair price. And Jeremy Grant versus a guy, let's say like a chalky Jackson Hayes. I don't think that Jeremy Grant is much worse of a play than Jackson Hayes, if worse at all.
Jackson Hayes, is he on that slate?
Oh, I'm sorry, wrong. I got my slates mixed up there. Never mind. Still
Okay.
do like Jeremy Grant though.
Okay.
I just think that it's a reasonable price for him for sure.
Okay. All right. Let's go to this next game then. Indiana. Eric, you'd be happy to know I just made a lineup with Randall in it. Okay. So anyway, um, Indiana, Utah. Unlike FanDuel, what's his name is not as great of a play, but he's still a really good play on DraftKings. Donovan Mitchell at 7,300. He, to me, rates to be the best Utah guy, and I'm sure that ownership will follow as usual. But the guy that's, if you want to play from this game, but to me is kind of a weird value play, is someone you've turned me on before, but he just, I don't know why he's popping for me on this slate. And when a guy like this who's going to be low owned pops for me, I'll try it. Is Royce O'Neal. Um, uh, so that's a guy that I'm going to include as kind of my value guys. And on the Indiana side, I don't know if I want to play anybody here. Sabonis would be my guy, but playing against Rudy Gobert is kind of rough business, so I don't know if I'm going to do it. But aside from that, again, Mitchell to me looks like a good play, and again, the only thing I would add is kind of an off the board Royce O'Neal thing.
Yeah. I don't know if I can get behind. Like, I guess the Royce O'Neal thing makes sense because we need some more value on the slate,
Yeah.
but they actually did a pretty good job pricing things on the slate, so it's a little trickier. I'm just not all that interested in this game in general over here. Yeah, pretty much where I'm at.
Sounds good to me. All right, so moving backwards, so Denver against Minnesota. So like you were mentioning Monty Morris, and it makes perfect sense to attack Minnesota, right? As we discussed on many occasions. So it's natural to find these Denver guys. So the three guys actually for me are the guys you've already mentioned, and one we haven't. We haven't mentioned Jokic yet. He's fine. He's playing well, and Cat's not really good at defense. So I certainly think Jokic could be an interesting lower owned tournament play. And then the guys you already mentioned already, like Jeremy Grant and Monty Morris, I think those guys can be really good. I didn't really like anybody else in Denver, so you maybe turn me on to them. And on the Minnesota side, since I'm not allowed to play Andrew Wiggins, the next guy that I would think about is, I'm not ready to play Cat yet, but it could happen soon. But Napier, who you mentioned in the DraftKings video, might be a guy I might go after. No?
Yeah, I think he's kind of interesting on this weird slate, not the FanDuel one, but the DraftKings one. If that makes sense. Yeah, I think it does. Yeah, so I'm just making a few pivots right now because we've got getting near lock over here on the 2:00 game. So I've got to make some edits on my DraftKings lineups and sort of force those decisions. I guess I could talk through it.
Oh, if you
More
saw
on
the 7 things that I was doing at once right now, like
what do you mean?
you kind of wouldn't believe. No, because off on the left side, but you don't see. I'm like doing all my FanDuel rebuilds, all my FanDuel tweaks, and all my FanDuel lineups and stuff like that, and making some changes kind of along the way. So yeah, I'm feeling
Yeah,
for you.
so we're on the same page. Wait, let me see some real quick. I need to. So we got Chris Paul. Okay, Paul. Sorry, trying to get through a few lineups. Chris Paul.
Yeah. So again, when the last time I was doing this, I had this screen, kind of like my tweak screen up, so people could see how I did whatever. So again, whatever you guys want to do, like I like doing both. I'll go over stuff in the future, like stuff to play later. I will give you kind of a live look at what I'm doing kind of in real time if you wanted me to do that. Um, whatever's most entertaining for you. If you want to hear me, get yelled at by Bobby for playing Andrew Wiggins, that works too. I mean, honestly, whatever you guys think is good. So Cody's coming in for the Portland game. Do we need anything? I actually kind of think, yeah, in that it's just with so few bullets to fire from on that team right now. The usage and the shots just have to come from somewhere, right? So until the prices either go up or McCollum comes back or they get somebody else, I it's just someone's just going to have to get there, right? And I think I would go so far as to say I think that someone is probably going to get 7x from that group. I don't know whether it's going to be Lillard or Whiteside or let's call it an 8x Simons, right? You know what I'm saying? Or a 7x Carmelo. I think somebody is going to do it. So I actually don't think it's the worst idea in the world to make sure you have at least one of them in your lineups. But keeping in mind, like I said, that if you are going to end up with the most chalky of those, that make sure that the rest of your lineups don't over chalk it. So you're going to question Westbrook or Harden or both.
Wait, say that one more time.
You're getting a Westbrook or Harden or both question.
Harden is my preferred target, but I'm fine with Westbrook too. I think he's taking on more of the main role lately. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get these changes in here.
Yeah, so like
some weird might be exposure.
So Joe Harris actually kind of is not the worst in the world right now, right? Is that what you're saying?
No, well, yeah, but they took away 2.5 of his fantasy points, so I don't know what happened.
How much time is left in this game?
I don't know. It's still the third quarter. Ben Simmons at 55.
It's just ending the third quarter. Okay.
Ending the third quarter, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that whatever your Ben Simmons lineup is,
it's a good one.
That's a real good one. That's a real good one. So yeah, it's kind of a weird day, right? With the way the slates overlap and stuff like that.
Absolutely, and I'm really struggling with this decision making on the other side of this game over here. There's a lot of different things I can do. I can shoot.
Which side? Which game you're talking about?
I've got my 3 guys left from the Cleveland game. I've got Morris. I can actually just talk about it because you don't have the rest of my lineup in front of you. Yeah. Morris, Peyton, and Garland.
Right.
That little combination. I think you're going to have a much higher owned Bagley than Morris.
Oh, my God. I can't believe it. It's a miracle. Garrett Temple is on the board with 2.75 points. Oh, my God. I got to already price out my new car tomorrow. 2.75 points on the board. Thank you.
So I'm basically struggling with a weird decision. Do I go Hero and Gallinari? I know that sounds weird. Or Marcus Morris and Darius Garland? Or do I just switch Peyton for Dragic? It's a really weird spot.
Peyton for Dragic. That is a very interesting question, isn't it?
It's the trying to get them to ended up doing a lot of okay, I've got to figure this out from a math perspective. Okay. So we got Morris, I need to get 40 out of him. I need to get 40 out of Peyton, and I would need to get 35 out of Garland. I think I like it still. You know what? I'm tied with other people with the same people remaining. I don't think anyone else is going with this one. I'm going with it.
Which one?
I'm leaving it. I'm not playing the Miami guys. And you know what sucks is I absolutely love Hero today. I just want to make that clear. And I think Dragic also could have a monster game. So I feel bad about it. It's not getting me enough more. It's not an upgrade to me enough Morris to Gallinari, in my opinion.
So the way you can figure this out, so it's 5 minutes to post time, right? So you whatever you have your Dinwiddie lineups, whatever, you could sort of like project sort of what he's going to get. So he has 28 going into the fourth quarter. So he's probably going to get 7 minutes because he's going to get extra, whatever, because point guard, whatever. So he'll get his 40, I would imagine, right? Something like that. What's the score in the game?
The score in the game.
There's a close game, right? So he's also got a little overtime big. So he's probably going to be kind of like a hold it together for you. You know what I mean? Dinwiddie. Because if he's got,
yeah, he's fine. He's totally fine.
Yeah, he's fine. And Harris, if he comes back,
he's more than fine. He's going to end up with 40 more often here than he doesn't, I think, with how much they're going to use him down the stretch.
Yeah. And do you have any Jared Allens or no?
No.
Okay.
I mean, it might be some, but not in the big one.
Okay. So what? So your main decision, the big one, is you're saying it's between.
Or I can. Okay, let me talk it through one more second. Or I can play Bagley and Dragic, and Payton, or Morris, Payton, and Garland.
Well, I think that the second one has that Garland that I think that's going to be an extremely low owned play.
And you gotta like it, right? Like this guy is doing it every game, 6 and 7, and not even having big games in 6 and 7 Xing. If he can put it together, I mean, and that's fine, by the way. I mean, it's not like Dragic doesn't have to play really well to get 35 tonight. He does.
Right.
So I like it. I'm sticking with it. I don't think that's the route other people are going. I like that it's correlated. Hopefully they take up all the usage. The other thing is getting Jackson Hayes in his main lineups with him starting now. So like Larry Nance should no longer be in play versus Jackson Hayes. Jackson Hayes is just he's a much more obvious place. If you have a chalky lineup, maybe you can play Larry Nance, but I'm going to go for Jackson Hayes personally.
You know what I'm going to have to do? I'm going to have to keep Hart over Harrow in some of the dead lineups. Well, I'm going to have to, right? But lineups that still have a chance, I'm going to have to probably do. Don't have too much time. Probably have to do a global swap, Hart to Harrow. I mean, that's kind of a tough. You know what I mean? That's a tough thing to ask for Hart to get more than Harrow in the spot.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do that. That'll be the last thing I do, I think. So let's see whoever's left over. We're gonna look for all the Hart, and he is let's only the shooting guard positions. How about that? So we'll put Harrow where Hart was over here. Swap him out over here. And then, we got a full 2 minutes. Plenty of time. You kidding me? Got plenty of time.
I'm very comfortable.
Oh, my God. You kidding me? So let's go into live. Let's see how much Hart we have now. Probably way too much, but that's what I get for doing this. So, just 64% Hart. That's not a big deal, right? So,
oh my goodness.
Well, it is what it is. We have to see.
Wait for it.
Yeah, so Hart at forward. Let's see if we could do a mass swap for him. Swap. We're going to go, forward, Hart. And is there anybody at 4,400 that I would want that would be better? Oh, is there nobody left at forward? Is that real? Yep, I could either go to Derek Jones Jr., Macklemore, Reggie Bullock, or I could just rebuild. I don't have time to rebuild. This could be just a failure, but that's okay. I failed at worse things before, so this could be the last thing we do. So this is a Hart one. No, this one's not Hart, so this one's not dead yet. I'm presuming the Hart ones are dead. That's fine. This is fine. This is fine. Okay. You know what? I think I'm content.
You know, that nice little game this morning was the guy who I played a little bit of. The guy you called out earlier was DeAndre Hunter.
He had a good game?
29, 4,000, take it.
Let me see. Did I end up playing him? I did a couple of stacks with what else happened in that game?
Did
Trey and the other one do well or no?
No, nobody really did that much, right? I don't know. Actually, I didn't look at Trey's numbers, to be honest.
I didn't play DeAndre. Okay, yeah. So let me see, because I did a couple of trays. Just a couple lines. Let me see how we ended up doing.
All right, let's see what the ownership.
Oh, what? Dude, Trey had 57 points.
I'm up to 21st place. We have Ben Simmons at 65.5.
Wow. Yeah, Trey had 57, by the way.
57.
Yeah, the only problem I paired him with Siakam in those lineups, so he didn't do well.
Oh, so. Siakam was a bummer.
So that's fine. So, dude, Simmons is your man, right, today?
Mm-hmm.
He's the one that's going to hopefully get this done for you. All right.
Well, you see what I had to do. I changed my big lineup last minute. Actually, Siakam was my last pivot, so that actually worked out really well. And nice. I ended up playing Drummond. I was going to play. I actually almost had. I was trying to find this. I was going to have Nance and Harden instead of Drummond and Peyton, and then I decided to change it around because basically, Peyton, and then somehow I switched LeVert in there. But basically, my thing was when I realized I wanted to play LeVert, Harris, and Dinwiddie, I wanted the only run back that I thought made sense, and that's Simmons. He's got now 67, now 68. About to get a triple double too, so he's going to leapfrog a little bit more.
Nice.
But we need a little bit of action from the other side. The good thing is it's a good close game, 10 minutes to go. Like these guys could end up all putting up another 40 or 50 points, and that could leave me in a great spot with. Let's see how low owned. You want to make a bet? Let's see how low owned these guys end up being, because you're going to end up winning our Garland bet.
Yeah, for sure.
4.3% owned.
Thank you. All right, I win a soda, right?
Elf Payton earlier projected at 30%, 8% owned.
Yeah, we're winning. I win a soda for predicting that Garland was going to be less than 8%. But what that means is Bobby obtains just probably 37 sodas worth of equity because of the low ownership. So that's good.
Oh, let's get it going.
Yeah, I like it.
That could be a fun little run there, especially if Simmons keeps this. He's got 30, 11, 9 right now and 4 steals. All right, so
what do we got? So what do we got? What are we? So we can look this up, right? So
we got the most minutes remaining of anybody up there with this. We're tied.
Right. Well, this is what we do. Let's look this up. So let's go.
You're in 21st place.
No, we're gonna do this right now. So we go NBA. We're gonna go view live, right, on my screen. And what is it? The 55.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just take a look at it. Are you in a place where? What place are you in right now?
21st.
Okay, so. Right. So here you are. Right. Why is Big T always on the leaderboard?
Well, he's got 60 minutes.
I know. All right, so what do we got? So let's take a look at what a good line. See, everybody wants to know what good lineups look like. So this is locked. This is what a lineup looks like, right? It's got some chalk, which is Dinwiddie, right? It's got Joe Harris chalk, and Andre Drummond again was pretty popular, and he's got popularity with Marcus Morris and LeVert, but he's got these key pivots in Simmons and Peyton and Garland. And Simmons you can see what's happening right now. He's generating all of the leverage right now. You know what I mean? So Bobby could really care less what goes on. Not much he couldn't care less. Obviously, it'd be great if Dinwiddie and Harris scored more points, clearly. But his key 4 guys are Simmons. Actually, 3 guys are Simmons, Peyton, and Garland, and one of them has already done his job and then some. You know what I mean? So this could be onto something. So you're tied with these guys, right?
I'm tied. So I'm looking at it real quick. I know they didn't switch to the same thing I had. There's no way. Yeah, there's no.
So they have. So you have to beat. So they have Bagley, Paul, and Hayes, and you have
Bagley, Paul, and Hayes on that one. And that's gonna be tough.
You have no chance to beat that, do you?
Why can't Garland score 35, Peyton score 55? Why can't that happen?
Meanwhile, my freaking screen is blowing up because every time I try to do anything, I see this notification that Ben Simmons has more points. Look at this. He just keeps flashing. He keeps flashing gold on my freaking screen. 73, 74. You know what? Is the game over? Oh, there's still 9 minutes to go.
Yeah, and all these other guys are going to get going too.
And is he in the game right now, Simmons?
Our little pack is, of course he's in the game. They're up by 4. That's why the numbers keep going up.
No, I mean, so that's not the way. So his rotation doesn't run the way most of the guys.
He's not coming out of the game, I don't think anymore. If he does, it would only be for like a minute.
Dude, if he doesn't come out of this game, you're like the favorite. I mean, like.
Well, no, they have Ben Simmons. That's the problem. The other guys have.
Oh,
too.
Right.
But I have to like this guy Rifa, who's the only one who's got a higher score than us. He's the one just ahead of us with time remaining. He also Ben Simmons with the steal. He also has Marcus Morris, which we have. And he's got Larry Nance, which I'm proud to say we don't have, and he's got Bagley. So basically, I'm playing for and I have Bagley everywhere else, that's the thing, but I'm playing for the Marcus Morris, the Peyton and Garland over Bagley. I could have played Bagley in this lineup, by the way. I had just enough to
No,
do
but
it.
and then you have so this Joe Buck safe Wizards, right? So he's got Bagley, Paul and Hayes. The Petty Theft has. I just presume all these guys have Simmons if they have the same score as you, right?
I don't know. Yeah, like you said Bagley because I think Bagley is an underdog to Morris. I prefer Morris to Bagley.
Yeah, but the thing is that so you don't have Bagley, correct? So that's your pivot. I mean, that's your root against, right?
Well, but no, but Morris is popular even more so than Bagley. But that guy's only got that doesn't matter because I just have to beat that guy.
Oh, you
and
don't.
then I've got Peyton and Garland. Nobody has.
That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, there's nobody in this mix who has even one of these guys, which is a great situation.
And
let's get overtime.
And what would be great is if Peyton and Garland were from the same game. That oh wow, look at that. And it would be even better if they were both guards going after one another. Boy, that's but it's amazing. You just got lucky like that, or did you actually? No, I'm just kidding. That's why Bobby's the best because he's got this perfect thing left for I don't want to say all the money, but let's put it this way: you're leveraged properly, and you've got the leverage on the guys you're tied with. So, like you said, I mean, if you this is the way I analyzed that quick video I had. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 guys with the exact same score, and we put this guy in the same mix. He's got a point more. Like so, they're giving you 5-1 on Garland, pretty much. You know what I mean? And they're giving you like 5-1 on Peyton with their Bagleys and their whatever. And yeah, Bagley's probably a better play, but
is he?
But okay, probably like you do it 1,000 times, he probably does it. You know, outscores them more than he doesn't. But the point is that you're getting 5-1.
And not to mention that Bagley hasn't put up more than 30 in like a million years.
Yeah.
And that he's more expensive than those guys we talked about. And the other thing is like, is Bagley really that much better of a play than a guy like Elf Payton? Like Elf in 30 minutes tonight, is he not going to score 30 fantasy points and with upside of 60? Like literally, that's where it's at, especially with no RJ Barrett.
Yeah,
I
could say something similar about Bagley though. I think.
I don't think so. I think it's more likely Sacramento would get blown out, although less likely now that Jimmy Butler's not in there. But it's much more than the other side. I mean, I just feel like the plays aren't so much better. Yes, Bagley's a better player, of course. It's not even a question. But I just mean as far as DFS plays today, I don't think so.
Well, let's see these other clowns have put up. Like this guy's hopeless. All right. So this guy's got Simmons. Oh, Bradley Beal, sneaky, got 40. All right, he's slowly but surely.
Yeah,
slowly but surely coming back. But that was a bad play today. So all these guys that have these numbers have Beal and Rose. That's not going to be enough, so I'm not worried about them. This guy doesn't even have Simmons. Like you got to have Simmons to be alive, right? So
I think that you have to have Simmons to be alive, unless you had Trey.
Oh, what's this guy with a 3% owned Cam Reddish? All right, that could be annoying. What's his?
What did he get?
I don't know. He had 26. What was his price?
Oh, that's not
4,400. No big deal.
Wow, Devontae Graham at 3% has got to be one of the best tournament plays in the States.
Yeah, I got some of that. And Petty Theft, I always worry about him. He had Simmons. What else does he have? He's got a Kevin Huerter. Boy, Kevin Huerter was only 0.8% owned. He didn't get there, but that's if I knew that he was only going to be 0.8%.
I know, at 5.7, a reasonable price finally too.
Yeah, this Donation King donated. So this guy with 125 PMR, he does not have. He has Simmons. Kyle O'Quinn. I'm not worried about him. I'm not worried about the Kyle O'Quinn guy. This one.
I mean, obviously, a lot could happen. Harden could go out and score 70 real life points.
Well, this guy's got Harden, so he's the guy I'm worried about. So.
Yeah, I think it's a logical thing to worry about.
And this guy also has LeVert, who can. I don't know whether he's going to look at Temple. Here he comes, 7.25. Here he comes. Hey, don't laugh. In overtime, this guy can get 20. He'll end up with. Oh, he won't play in overtime. I'm kidding. All right. So Big T, what did he do? I always like watching his lineups. Yeah, look, Big T. He knows what's up. Garrett Temple. There it is. Although I would never play both these guys together, by the way, Temple and Harris.
I really don't like the way that this has turned out for Harris here. Like he's just been so terrible. Like that was a spot where it would have been just easy just to have done anything else.
They just said Garrett Temple with a steal and Dinwiddie with a turnover. Did Temple steal the ball from Dinwiddie, and that would not be very sporting to steal it from your own teammate. So here's another Simmons. Hold on, let me just see who's going to beat us here. All right, LeVert has a shot to beat you. I don't know whether he's going to close.
I've got LeVert.
Oh, you have LeVert.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, Ingram, he's got Ingram, so that's
Yeah.
he's always got a shot, but whatever. This is you could be onto
The
something, man.
last time I won one, Darius Garland was on that lineup,
Is
and
that
I got
true?
so many people freaking out about me because they saw he was like the last one of the later lock games that day, and they were like, "What in the world is wrong? Like you're blowing up a great lineup," and he ended up putting up, I think it was on FanDuel, he put up like 38. He was 4,100 or something.
Yeah, I have to say that in 2 hours, um, it's very possible you might see our faces out here again with a live stream. If in fact you got that Bobby has a shot here, I think we might have to come on and sweat this, but we'll see.
All right, we might have to do it. I'm with you. If we're in the top, if we have a legitimate shot at the top three, we'll come back on.
All right, sounds good. All right,
All right.
we're done, right?
Yeah, we're done. Hey, guys, thanks for tuning in. This was so much fun.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed it. Give us any thoughts. Really appreciate you hanging out with us.
All right, so here's what we're gonna do. So first, well, good luck with this. But all right, we'll stop this video. All right, so now it's just you and me, fans. So now what I have to do is I have to unstream this. So let's stop streaming.